Perfect. So let's get started. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Good morning. My name is Ari. I'm one of the customer success managers here at ezyCollect. And today we are going to delve into how finance delivering the perfect payment experience for customers delivers profitable and repeatable growth. And I'm honored to be your host for this insightful discussion today. I'm joined here today with the co-founder of ezyCollect, who is a chartered accountant, runs his own accounting practice, and has been both CFO and COO at ezyCollect. Over to you, Raj.
Hi, everyone. Thanks. I'm looking forward to today's chat.
Perfect. So let's get right into it. The first question that I want to ask, Raj, is could you please share with the audience a little bit about your background as well as sort of the payments journey that led up till here?
Exactly. So I guess I like to do things in stories. So I'll sort of answer that question in two different stories. One as to how we got to ezyCollect and where it is today, and in a really quick story. And I'm sure you've all heard about how the company was formed. It was AJ, my co-founder, built an amazing business in a wholesale business, and it just kept growing. And it was extremely painful experience in terms of the cash flow. And as you grew, there's more bad debts, more collection issues, et cetera, and that's part and parcel. We had a very clear mission coming into it. We wanted to solve late payment. We wanted to have 0 days late. As we started and got phenomenal, traction and product fit and things like that, we had some amazing leaders, namely our CTO and our CS, Jane and Ricardo. They sort of said to us, "Hey, we're doing well, but we're not solving the mission. We're not going to get to 0 days late unless we really wrap payments around every part of this journey." And that means from the sale, from the customer onboarding, from the very first day to when that sale closes, to when they upsell, to then customer becoming a customer again, and on and on and on. Every part needs to have payments. We need to remove friction points for people to pay as much as possible and be able to feel in control of those payments.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, right? So working in CS, I see that on a daily basis. So obviously when we're sort of onboarding a new customer, obviously we've got the workflows, which is automated reminders that go out, but they're only so good by itself, because at the end of the day, you still need a call to action at the end of that. So you still need a way for the customers to actually end up making payments to you. So the reminders by itself are great, but without the call to action, it's not really sort of doing much in that sense. So having that integration, having that seamless sort of payments experience, offering the customers the flexibility to pay you in as many ways as possible, I think that's where the real value is. But yeah, did you want to touch base a little bit about sort of like your background between?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been lucky enough here to both be a CFO and COO, and that's where this conference or fireside chat sort of started off, in the fact that as a CFO, you focus on that silo of delivering finance solutions and things like that. As a CEO, I sort of started this role, and I thought we really need someone to work across the business, run the operations. And I thought, well, perfect, this is what I want to do. But I don't think I really got the key part of the COO role until a couple of months ago, when I met up with an old friend, and he's CEO at a big investment bank, and had a few drinks, and we started talking. I said, so what do you do? I was like, simple. I have one goal, is to remove every obstacle for the sales team. Whatever obstacle there is, get them selling, our business grows faster, my shares are more valuable, et cetera, was his sort of viewpoint. But I think that's the key bit. From a sales point of view, we want to work with finance. And from a finance point of view, we want to deliver seamless solutions for our customers. And that linkage is sort of where I got to in the payments journey, that I feel that one of the key friction points for sales is getting that collection, making that payment, making it seamless around everything. So that's sort of where we are.
No, I completely agree with that, right? So a sales team is only as good as sort of what the value proposition is, right? So if the sales team is able to deliver value consistently on a day in, day out basis to our customers, that's when they'll truly be successful. And the only way they can deliver value is if our product is the right fit, right? If our product solves a real problem for our customers, which is getting them paid on time. So and finance supporting sales in that way, and offering sort of different sort of kinds of seamless payment experiences for our customers. I think that's where the true value lies, and that's how a sales team is going to be successful in all the sort of it's sort of that's how it goes full circle. But yeah, thanks for that, Raj. Now on to my next question that I had today was that the topic today obviously is finance partnering with sales. Obviously yourself, you've been on both sides of the spectrum. You've been both CFO as well as COO. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if we, I think back to the start of my career now, and one of the first things someone said to me, look, you're even a cost center or a revenue center. And on a revenue center, you're more protected from all the different, issues of your job, and from the cost center, well, you're expendable. Okay, that's not really right. And that's, I mean, that was 30 years ago or 25 years ago, but I feel that where finance partners with sales is really in delivering more growth, more value. And modern finance teams have that very clear capacity to partner with business. And there's no better partner, no better growth engine in the business than the sales. And unfortunately, the two teams have sort of somehow been in conflict at times, and I don't think that's the right approach. And what we at ezyCollect try to do, and what generally try to do, is really put payments as the glue that brings the two teams together. Wrapping payment solutions around everything is the key. It's the key part of the growth and how finance works closely with sales. It makes both teams more successful. I think that's the key bit. Finance understands all the levers that grow the business through sales. That's key. And sales understands, hey, how do we actually deliver profitable customers who pay us repeatedly?
Yep.
And it becomes muscle memory for those two teams, and it works really well together. I think it all comes back to delivering that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to say, how does finance do it? It's really about delivering this seamless experience for customers. Like, it's not to overstate. The first goal of every business is to deliver its mission, its critical part, its product, its service, and have a happy customer. Well, we can't create friction points in those happy customer moments. Like, if I get a taxi back in the day, when you got out of that taxi, there was a friction point. There was a payment, there was a card, there was a signing, there was stuck in a red light. It was problematic. Mm-hmm. And that's when companies like Uber came in and said, hey, despite all the tech that it delivered and everything else, one of the key points that made it successful and why people switched is she walked out of the taxi. And not only that, you automatically, and this is the key bit, like when we start delivering these experiences around rapid payments, you had control. You could take your credit card, you could complain. You have, sometimes it's not clear, but you rate that experience straight away. You are able to, and you're able to dispute easily, and the amount quickly. It's really about those things. I felt in control, and there was all the friction points going, and that's the key bit.
Yeah, and that's how our customers should also feel, right? And I think the only way to sort of make that happen is if our sales team is able to identify, number one, the sales cycle, so how long it takes. So it's not just about like an SDR doing a demo, or sorry, in this case, an SDR booking in a demo and account executive doing a demo, and then that's where the work stops. If anything, that's where the work begins, because that's where we come in and sort of integrate with their existing solutions and really sort of deliver that value in truly end-to-end process and streamline that for them. And being aligned, both the finance team as well as the sales team being aligned across that sales cycle and exactly how long it takes from selling to actually our customers realizing that value is sort of like that bridge, right? So just having that end-to-end process, I think, is the key here.
I mean, that's key. Like, the data bridge is one thing, so there's one single source of truth, but it's also that single source of truth, not just internally, but externally to the customer. The customer can be part of every part of that journey, and wrapping solutions around payments there.
Yep, perfect. So Raj, onto my next question here. So what do you think the perfect experience looks like for if you're selling B2B? And in your opinion, what is the reality of that today? And where sort of businesses are on that spectrum? And if you want to also say where ezyCollect is on that spectrum, that'd be good.
So, I mean, I guess let's start with, where's the perfect? And I keep saying wrapping payments solutions around everything. What does that mean? I think is important. I mean, it starts when a customer's onboarded. And every B2B business is different, but capturing a payment authorization wherever you can is critical. So a lot of our clients would use, okay, if you're this type of customer and you're going to be buying less than $10,000, then you must provide a payment authority. It's no different than if you go online and order something, there is some sort of authorization. That means providing bank details or credit card details on a customer onboarding form, on a customer application, or some way. But if not, it's also about making sure that clarity on pricing, clarity on what you're doing, and clarity on how you're going to be billed at this process, when progress payments, payment plans, invoices, statements, everything is clear and that experience is seamless. But it doesn't stop there. It has to be automated. We can't have teams, because if you have two teams working differently and the customer has two different journeys where it says, okay, here's your journey in delivering your mission and here's your journey on delivering payment, and those things aren't in sync, you have a problem and a bad customer experience. Bad customer experience, and remember, the easiest and most profitable sale is your existing customers. So very clearly, you want to deliver that. It is about integrating not just those puzzles in terms of finance and sales, but there's a million different parts of the business. Your service delivery teams, your inventory teams. I always like the example of one of our clients here, where the key part, when that payment click is done on ezyCollect, it automatically sends an API to the warehouse, delivers the good out, is ready at the shop for the first customer to pick up within an hour. And that is critical. So if any part of it fails, the customer is not going to get the goods in a seamless manner. But it has to be integrated.
Yeah.
But integrated, solving all the parts of the business and internally. It needs to be reconciled. It needs to be all those parts and journeys of the finance team. The sales team needs to know it's paid, because then they can continue their journey onto how we go. But unfortunately, like one thing that's really hard, maybe it's unfortunate, is B2B is customized.
Absolutely.
And it's not there. And most of the times we don't see these things. There's silos working, and that's where this webinar comes in. How do we remove those silos? How do we get rid of those silos? And what we at ezyCollect are trying to deliver, both internally, where we struggle with it, and we understand the challenges we work on it, and externally, it's removing those silos and providing the pathways to give this clear single source of truth and automate as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, business wants to get on to what its core purpose is. And it's delivering its goods or services or whatever it is, what's purpose out. And that's just not just businesses, but that can go to nonprofits, education, all those different type of things. Just one last point. I'm probably talking more than I should here, but it is the way we see it is what we call a smart contract. That's our vision at ezyCollect, how we want to deliver it. Every part, there's probably 10 pieces of a B2B sales process or finance part of it. Every part of that has to have a smart contract linked into it. I feel like it's all codable, adjustable, and that's what we're working towards. Customer on boards, here's the contract, here's the agreement. This part of the journey, this progress, and every single part, it has all the pieces which link it together.
Now, I completely agree with that, Raj. And really, that's sort of like the key challenge here, right? So for any sort of B2B sort of businesses that we work with on a daily basis, the payments experience is the one thing that is very customizable. So one sort of standard approach, I could sit here and be like, okay, well, I think this is sort of like the most sort of logical way to accept payments from your customers. And that's what the end-to-end process should be. But again, depending on the actual business, it could be a completely sort of like, it could be irrelevant for them. So really being able to identify what that right approach is that would work for that business, I think that is the key. And in sort of like my day-to-day in CS as well, when I'm talking to businesses, when I'm doing sort of discovery on these phone calls, I always start off by asking my customer, okay, well, talk to me about what you're currently doing today. Talk to me about the bottlenecks in your process. What is working, what isn't working, and let me see if I can come up with a solution for you that sort of integrates and automates that process. And if I could just add something here, I think the number one thing that I've sort of seen in my time sort of like working on, because obviously after I've joined, we've done a lot of good things around integrated direct debit, around payment plans, around smart contracts. The one thing that I have seen is that just in the B2B industry itself, there is a bit of a taboo around payment authorization, because a lot of the times customers don't tend to understand what it really means. And I think this is where there is an opportunity for our customers to educate their customers. So when we say payment authorization, or when their customers provide them with a payment authorization, it's not like your regular sort of gym membership or your or your phone bill that sort of direct debits use in a recurring sort of monthly basis. Because a lot of the time the fear is around losing control, not having control of your cash flow, which is why like our customers will be like, I don't want to provide direct debit authorization. But what we've done at ezyCollect is that essentially with smart contracts, what we want to do is that we want to understand how your business works. For example, if you're doing if you're doing business on terms, you've got 30-day net. At the end of it, or even at the beginning, there is a smart contract in place that says, okay, well, you can pay off by 30 days. If you can't, then there's alternate options. There's sort of payment plans in place. There's we can schedule payments. So it's just about offering all of these alternatives, which doesn't make our customer feel like they're losing control, but also sort of helps our customers maximize their cash flow, which is super important for a business, right? So it's not just about having automated processes. For a business to run, you also need cash flow. You need to have a steady stream of income coming in so that you can actually sort of pay your wages, pay your bills, everything. So I think it goes like all around. It's yeah.
I like 100% agree. I think what you also identified is there's an education piece and a control piece, right? Like the education is educating your customers that, hey, they're actually doing this now. Like it's COVID in some ways solved some of the education piece because everyone's more comfortable with it now. But the other piece then is also just making sure customers feel in control. If they want, they don't get it. Whatever it is, any dispute is dealt with in seamless. It's the same way you treat your customer in every other part of your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing for finance. If you really want to deliver that experience for the customer, it's quick responses, it's understanding, it's empathy, it's all those parts that you can automate to an extent. And we're working towards that. But you won't even need to if the customer has clarity as to what's happening.
Yeah.
Visibility, openness, and insight. And that data piece is critical, right? Because you are sharing data from your customer and you're also obtaining data. And there's single source of truth, which if I would say what's one of the benefits of this payments experience, it is really like, even if you don't do credit card authorization, and it's not an option because of the business or the types of business you're selling, that's sometimes the case, it still wraps payment experience. How much the customer paying? When are they paying? That clarity, that reminder system. The example I always give is, I knew someone who worked at a business that supplied to Dick Smith actually, and they were going broke, Dick Smith. And so I sort of caught up with her and said, hey, how'd you go? You must have lost, your business must have lost a heap of money. When Dick, no, it was fine. What do you mean? And she sort of said, well, we knew it was coming. I'm like, you knew it was coming? What, you had inside information? He says, no, we didn't have insight. We just saw the data. We had access to it. We saw how much they were ordering, when they were ordering, what prices, when they were paying. And we changed quickly, really quickly, to say you have to pay up front if you want to order from us. And now I know that's difficult to do, and I know it's hard, but they effectively saved themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So much so that they got sued by the liquidators that, hey, you're getting preferential payment. And the court law, of course, you haven't done nothing wrong. You have just literally been smarter than every other business around. And that's what we want to deliver at ezyCollect to our customers. Even not just that seamless payment experience, but that single source of truth that you know what's happening and you can then control it really quickly.
Absolutely. Completely agree with that. Thanks, Raj. On to the next question here. So in your opinion, what do you think are the key challenges organizations face when they're trying to enhance sort of the payments experience?
Look, there is a whole set of security controls, which is huge, is what we invest in as a business considerably. There's resistance to change, which we've talked about already, like both from customers and from internal stakeholders as well, and there's education pieces around it. But the one I do want to dwell on is just the integration. I mean, I'm not saying that others aren't important, but integration with all the different systems is absolutely key. Like, you need to be able to integrate and tell all the parts, whether it's the inventory team, the delivery team, that this has happened. You need to reconcile. You have one, and that integration also delivers a single source of truth, which lets you make the right decisions. So I'd say there's three, right? There's the biggest things. Like, security is just, it's up there. It's important. Having good controls, trading your staff, all those type of things. It's absolutely critical. Educating, the resistance to change,
mm-hmm.
and then integration with the three things.
Yeah, completely. If I can just also add something on the resistance to change topic there. So just in my experience as well, talking to customers, a lot of the times you've got legacy systems in place, right? And when you try to sort of come in and pitch something that is a lot more automated or a lot more efficient, a lot of the times from people who've been doing it a certain way for years and years and years, there is resistance, right? Because they a lot of the times people almost look at it as a threat, right? Like, hey, like, this person's coming in here and they're trying to tell me how to do my own job, and that there is sort of like that resistance to change. However, in my experience, what I've seen is, like, once you actually talk to a customer and you are able to effectively deliver or show the value and exactly how much sort of time saving is going to be based off of, like, having a more automated, for example, payment plan process, or having a more automated direct debit system in place, and seeing how much more time it takes off of their hands, I think that's where sort of there's sort of like a switch in just the whole sort of like mentality of our customers as well. And they're like, hey, wait a second, like, this actually makes sense. I want to try it out. And then from there on, it's about adoption. And when they've used it for 1, 2, 3 months, after that, they actually become like I would say it's sort of like lifetime users of the software and its efficiencies, because they're just saving so much time. They just have all this extra time to do things that they really need to focus on. Like I truly believe for AR, you shouldn't be chasing hundreds and hundreds of customers manually. It just doesn't make sense. Having an automated system in place, knowing or being able to predict exactly when you can receive the cash flow, how you can receive the cash flow, and having control and visibility over that, that's where the true benefit lies.
No, I mean, I agree. And overcoming resistance to change is different for different types of people. Mm-hmm. So there's the education piece, that's like clarity, showing value. And in some cases, what we find in terms of payment is some of our clients are actually saying to their customers, if you do this and apply for credit also, you automatically get a 1%, 2%, 3% discount across everything. And because it costs them less to, in terms of financial authorization, automate, like all the manual steps. And that is how they overcome the resistance change. There's different solutions. So I absolutely agree with you, like education pieces and all those things, critical, but it's also just maybe sometimes a financial benefit which you can provide and actually saves. And those clients that talk to us, they're actually saving overall because they lead less manual steps in the journey. And that end customer not only pays them faster, but is more likely to order for them again, because there's not this, oh, I haven't paid that invoice. I'll hold off. I won't order from them. I'll go somewhere else. They've paid it. Yeah. And they're a good customer. They're a repeatable customer.
Perfect. Fantastic. On to the last question for today's podcast. So, Raj, in your opinion, what does the future look like for this entire payments experience that we talked about today?
I'll try to answer this quickly. I mean, it is that smart integrated contract. That is literally when you sign up to any business to purchase their goods, you agree to a set of terms, you automate those agreement and the execution of that terms. So you agree, hey, I'm going to receive this good. On delivery, I will pay 50%. That automatically comes out of your account and on checking the goods, tick, it's all done. I mean, even to the extent, I remember when I was very young, I used to unpack boxes at a warehouse and unpack them, tick, okay, there's this many shoes in the box and all that sort of stuff. And then it would go to someone else and someone else would then say, okay, well, actually sort of 25 shoes, 24 were delivered. We're only going to pay for 24. There's all these manual steps that would all be automated. Here's the check. Here's how many we got. Here's what the payment. Here's the dispute amount. Here's the automatic debit, all sorted in an end contract with the terms agreed to. That also means options to pay, planning, giving customers ability to pay on plan, pay on finance, etc., and removing and having one source of truth, like no data silos. Again, I just want to say this, like if I say the future, we also need to have very clear security protocols.
Yep, perfect. I completely agree with that. So that was all the questions here. Thank you for tuning in today. We do have 2 minutes still left for some Q&A. If you've got any questions, feel free to just put it down on the chat box and we can answer those. But I hope everyone enjoyed that session.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate that. Thanks, Ari.
That's all good. Okay. So just one thing I want to say before we all jump off over here. If you do have any questions that you have or that you will come up with, feel free to just send them over to us via email at sales@ezyCollect.io, and someone from our team will get back in touch and answer those for you. Perfect. Otherwise, hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. Bye.